The next thing we're going to talk about is lever guns. Having a traditional looking gun, there's just something about it. Having a couple different variants I like, but I always still like having something that's a little bit more traditional. This one was worked over by Mad Pigs. I love octagon barrels. There's just something about it. You can just see how they crowned it. They chopped this down from being a little bit bigger. It's got the Ranger Point Precision Skinner sights on here, which I really like. And I really kind of fancy this setup. I went with Mean Gene Leather, does a custom sling. They're really, you got to kind of get on a wait list for them and just understand it's going to take him some time to do it. But I feel it just really ties the gun in very well together, just with everything on it. However, with all the different things that are going on in the lever gun world right now, there's a lot of options that we have. Now, you can run more traditional, but I still wanted somebody to work over the action and the inners on these guns so that the load sequences, as I'm cycling the gun, it's smoother and I'm not getting rounds hung up in there as well. So I definitely appreciate Mad Pigs for customizing this internally. I know externally it just kind of looks like a normal lever gun. However, what we're going to talk about next is the jump to version, the first version of the Thumper that we created, and then we're going to get into version 2 and where it is now. This gun is known as the Mad Pigs Thumper. This is version 1. This is done on a Marlin. The next one that you're going to see is obviously done on a Henry. Now, this is a total of 16-inch overall. You can see the way the brake is blended in. It's done extremely nice. This is a really great setup. I don't want to go into too much detail on this and waste our time because I've already done a video on it. So you can go check that out separately if you want to see this configuration. But what we're going to cover next is version 2. Mad Pigs Custom Thumper version 2. Right away you can see this thing looks like it came off the set of Starship Troopers. This new version is definitely taking a drastic change. This is on the Henry platform. Going back to the barrel length, we're looking at 16 inches overall. You can do a break, you can do a threaded barrel, you can request whatever kind of caliber configuration you want to do with Mad Pigs. The first thing we'll dive into is the sight system. These sights will clear a suppressor. So we have a adjustable front sight right there, and then I have an adjustable rear sight as well. The sights are set up for both subsonic and supers, which is I think extremely important. We have a rail system that you can see bolts down right in here. So this is one complete upper rail as it comes together and wrenches in. So all this right through here, one solid piece until it connects into this area right here and locks in. One thing about this rail, it is completely robust. You throw this in the back of a four-wheeler or you throw this in the back of a truck, and the only thing that's going to happen is you're going to break either the truck or the four-wheeler. It's not going to be that rail. The rails have become really important over the years, and it's because of versatility and what a lot of end users are doing. A lot of guys are going hog hunting, and when they do, sometimes they take these styles of guns and they shoot with night vision on. So to be able to now put up a night vision device and also have repeatability of 0 is extremely important. White light capability, especially for those that live in restricted states where this may be your home defense gun. I mean, if I live in a state where I've got to modify my AR and have 10 round magazine capacity, then I'm just going to run a 357 or a 44 Magnum. Just be careful of over penetration. So it gives people that kind of flexibility that may have to kind of change and manipulate this gun just a little bit. So within this system, kind of important to note as far as the sights go, these sights were built for a normal wooden stock. Okay, so a normal comb height based on what that comb height has been set for all the years. Okay, so if you were to put, say, this particular stock on, To see these sights, you would have to crush your face down just a little bit more in order to see them, which isn't going to really be comfortable. So when you're setting your configuration up, you've got to be a little cognizant of that to make sure you're getting it set up the way you want to based on your uses. Couple things. This is a chisel stock right here, since we're talking about stocks. And one thing that you can see is that this comb height can go up and down. However, it's in its lowest form right now, which isn't as low as a normal wooden stock. This stock was designed for running optics, since most of us run either some form of red dot and or scope. And this is what's nice about this rail too, is since it's one solid piece, it definitely lends to very good stability and sturdiness as we start doing mounting other equipment to it, like scopes. Now, in regards to this stock right here, you can see how robust it is. You can see how solid it is. I mean, it looks like you could just crush your way through a brick wall with this thing. You're certainly not worried about breaking it, let me tell you that. On the other side, we have the quiver system set up by Hoptic, both forward and rear. The only thing that I'm going to say is, as you're going for these rounds, sometimes what happens here is it hits the stock depending upon how the user grabs them. So I think a simple fix is just taking this Hoptic and putting a spacer and kicking it out, and I think that would help. Or just having it angled so when I come in with another spacer and I slide it out, even if I got a little close, I wouldn't have to worry about this. So again, adjustable cheek piece dependent upon how high the optics are that you're mounting. The QD cup is mounted over here on the right hand side, which I really like being mounted on the right. However, I would prefer it right here. And the reason why is whenever you are slinging up, this carries a lot better than anything down below. Sometimes the sling will wrap up underneath and it'll get caught. It's a minor issue, but if they ever did another version, I would hope that Chisel would move this up. I would be willing to put the QD cup here, even though it's going to sacrifice probably those running 357 or 44. I mean, it's going to limit the amount of rounds that you're able to carry in that particular configuration. Overall, when you look at the workmanship and the success from version 1 that Mad Pigs did a long time ago, they've definitely come back and upped the ante again with workmanship on the Henry, with new components that companies in the industry are just racing to get out for us. And I think that's great. I think it's awesome to have this kind of versatility. You know, I think if you're a traditional guy, you know, I mean, for me, I've got a Sharps on order. So I love the sexiness of wood on a lever gun and on a traditional gun. However, to have that flexibility, there are some things that I can do with this gun setup wise that I can't do with the more traditional. But to have, again, an industry that's pushing out products for us as end users, I think is great. So again, check it out. Overall, when you start to look at this configuration, you have basically a gun that's shorter than a shotgun. And the reason being is a shotgun barrel is going to be minimum 18 inches. Now, does this load as easy as a 12 gauge does? It doesn't. It definitely takes a little bit more in regards to knowing what to do when loading one of these types of guns. I really like to set up, I get 6 on the side, 6 here, 4, and then if I throw one in the chamber ahead of time. So you definitely have a lot of firepower. The belt system that I'm wearing is one done by Mean Gene again. This was a custom one that I had him do. And one of the cool things about this belt is we kind of built it to be as simplistic as possible, almost like a little bit of a war belt. The loading sequence on the side, I think it's a total of 42 rounds is what this belt holds. And in doing it, to make things simple, once you undo this, I'm basically running a Velcro inner. So you put this belt on and then you just wrap this one around. One of the things that Gene and I went back and forth on was specifically how long to make this area here, because some of the ones that are out on the market go really far down, and as soon as you bend down, you start pushing shells up aggressively and or they start digging into you. That area can be really flimsy as well. You're gonna see how thick this is down the side of that belt, the way that is configured. So a lot of work went in, and then at the very end, he can do it a few different ways. I had him do a taper. Now, this is a specialty item. They don't sell it on their website. So one of the things that you're gonna have to do is send them an email, and then they'll help you out from there. So this system that I'm wearing is a chest rig. It's done by SOE Gear. They've been around for a long time. I've got a lot of their bags, primarily where I really enjoy their small, kind of like more like mechanic bags, is I get different colors. So I throw my Glock in one, or my, my Fowler in another, and I keep the mags in it, and I keep everything specific to that gun in those bags. However, they make a lot of other things. They make a lot of commando rigs. They make slings. So get on their website, check them out. This primarily, I believe, and I know they'll correct me if I'm wrong, started off as more of a shotgun kind of vest. They also do a very similar vest that'll hold M4 mags in it as well, and AK, and you'll see all the different variants that they do. But I got it configured where this is just triple as far as up front, plus another row in the back, and I'll show you that in a second. They also make them where they have pouches, so like if you're going out and doing a hunt, you can throw your binos in there, your laser rangefinder, whatever little ancillary equipment that you need in there as well. Now, what's really neat about this system is, as soon as you're done using these rounds and you've expended them all, you just flip this piece of Velcro and get it out of your way, because what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring up the next series of rounds that are inside this pouch. So of course that's 3 or 2, depending upon the way you're configured. So it's a really slick setup, really simple. And for some people that can't carry that much ammunition on their waist, or you're having to reach back and grab it in weird spots, this is a very nice setup. A couple other things. If you combine this vest, which I believe is 42 rounds, with that belt, which is 42 rounds, so that's 84. And since I'm running 500 grainers, you come up with how many grains of ammunition that I'm holding onto. That's a lot of grains. Yes, it's thousands. Some of the ammo that I'm going to be shooting today is by Defiant Munitions. It's these guys right over here on the side. You can see them. They just, oh my gosh, does that not look sexy? So we're going to give these a whirl out of the V2 version, see how they do. I'm sure they're going to be pretty hot, so I am a little intimidated by them. I'll be honest, I like running, bigger rounds that are doing a little, like somewhere below 1400. You start getting into 1600, man, you definitely better have some coffee in the morning first. But nevertheless, I think overall, when you look at a versatile platform, if you're ready to take it to like Starship Trooper level, this V2 version is a pretty cool way to go. I think especially if you're running, because you want to, because you feel like it, white lights and night vision and red dots and all that other stuff, between skeletonized stock, between the cheek rest that you can move up and down, you just have a lot of versatility. People always ask about home defense with the lever gun. If I lived in a state where there was a lot of restrictions on the AR, 10 round capacity magazines, and modifications done to the AR, then to me it's not an AR anymore. So yes, I would run 357 or 38 special, or 44 mag or 44 special. I at least got 10 rounds. I've got more grains of ammunition. But you still got to be a little wary of over penetration. People don't realize that with the AR, when that 5.56 round hits drywall, it starts to tumble. And back in the day, when there was this big shift between the MP5 and the AR, a lot of people were really worried about the AR because it's a rifle. And the reality was that 9mm plus P did more damage to drywall than the 5.56 does. So for me, I still use a 10-inch with a suppressor M4 in my house, and that's what I like. So for other people that live in restricted states, I think it's a good option for them.